Hi guys, and welcome back to Chitty Chats. We are on episode 10 and today is the 6th of April 2020. I am reporting live from my kitchen in quarantine. I hope that you're all doing well and keeping safe. I have to say that with all the things that are going on in today's climate, I can't help but feel like I'm living in this surreal kind of reality. It's just hit me like a ton of bricks, to be honest. I don't know my left from my right. I don't even know. Well, I think I just about know what day it is today. I just want to kind of reel back to last night's speech from the Queen, where she allured quite a lot to World War II. She did offer hope in many ways. I think one of the things that I took from that speech was, yes, we're asking you to stay away from your loved ones and not go out and stay at home, but it's all for the greater good. And in the end, once this has all calmed down, we will once again together be united. So that was quite beautiful. In today's episode, I want to touch on a few of the conspiracy theories that are roaming around. One of them, which was the first one that I came across, and actually, quite frankly, it broke the internet. This one was the coronavirus being predicted in a novel. The novel is called The Eyes of Darkness, which was published in 1981 by an author named Dean Koontz. And his plot was around a mother who attempts to find out what's happened to her son after he mysteriously disappears on a camping trip. So it turns out that this boy is held in China, specifically in Wuhan, which is the site of a deadly virus outbreak. So in the particular passage that was floating around, a character named Dombei narrates an account of a virus called Wuhan 400, and it was developed at the rDNA lab outside the city of Wuhan. I'm quoting from the book, it was the 400th viable strain of man-made microorganisms created at that research centre. This sent chills up my spine the first time I read it, because it really alerted to the current situation in regards to the fact that this whole virus outbreak essentially derived and stemmed from Wuhan within the black markets, or so is the rumour. And the fact that this highlights Wuhan and also discusses a virus outbreak similar to what we're going through now was quite scary. And I think a lot of people were freaking out at this because of, again, its description of the virus being man-made. And this is where a lot of the conspiracy theories sort of developed from. So the second conspiracy theory that I want to touch on is the notion that 5G connection is what is causing the symptoms of COVID-19, so the chills, the fever, the breathlessness, the tight chest, that kind of thing. And this whole conspiracy theory stemmed from, well, first and foremost was the idea the 5G networks were first released in Wuhan in November last year, and this is when the outbreak began, and actually it began in Wuhan too. So that was something that, is it coincidental? This is something that does play and triggers a lot of fear. And what doesn't help is when you have big idols such as Kerry Hilson, who's an American singer. She's got around 4.2 million followers on Twitter, and she tweeted, "People have been trying to warn us about 5G for years," and capital letters is years, is in capital letters. "Petitions, organizations, studies. What we're going through is the effects of radiation. 5G launched in China November 1st, 2019. People dropped dead." So, that, of course, things like that trigger fear, and people are scared. One experience I had recently, I was jogging up in my area, and I didn't leave too early. I had a sort of lie-in, so when I went out, it was a little bit busier than usual. It was sort of midday-ish, maybe just before. Anyway, I was jogging on the pavement, and I'm running up behind a lady, and she freaked out at me. She started running behind me. So I ran up to her and I passed her. And I've got my headphones in, and I can just hear it, in the background. Excuse me. She's going to me. "You can't just run up on people like that. You need to keep your distance. Keep your distance." And that really hit me hard, because it highlighted how scared people are. And these conspiracy theories that roam around definitely don't help the situation. So please do think before you share. I've definitely learnt my lesson. One of the final conspiracy theories that I want to highlight is the fact that The Simpsons has predicted the outbreak. So the reason people trusted this particular conspiracy theory so much is because it has been said that The Simpsons has predicted the 9/11 attacks, and also the announcement of Donald Trump becoming president. So there is an episode from 1993, and it shows Homer Simpson and Principal Skinner, who are both sick. And in another image that was floating around on this particular reel, there is a broadcaster who is reading off of a piece of paper while the words coronavirus and a cat appears on a screen behind him. However, it does actually turn out that these images were altered. So 3 images were from an episode called Osaka Flu, where a factory worker coughs into a package for Homer, and he in turn falls sick. The text behind the broadcaster in the 4th image, however, does not say coronavirus. It says apocalypse meow. So again, as much as it's a blessing to have access to the internet and all of this information, it can in turn be quite detrimental, because it reinforces fear. It reinforces this notion of not knowing and not being in control. And when you feel like that, you feel vulnerable and you feel scared. And so I previously had been sharing quite a lot on my Instagram, and someone actually messaged me and said, this isn't even real, just be careful what you're sharing. And in turn, I had to think twice about what I was doing, because I was adding more fuel to that fire when already it is a difficult time for people. And if anyone is suffering, from social anxiety as it is, or depression as it is, this situation, of course, is not going to help. And adding to that would be people sharing unfactual things. Okay, so just as a finisher there, I want to touch upon an article I came across called Know Any Cynical People? Here's the root of their cynicism. This article was taken from thriveglobal.com. I will put up in the comments the link to this because I find it is very useful. Now, this article discusses a part of our brain called the lizard brain. This part of our brain is evolutionary. It's the primitive part which protects us against our predators. And it focuses solely on survival, and it has only 4 needs. One of those needs is familiarity. So being in places and situations which feel familiar. The second is habits. That's sticking to effective habits of living and thinking. Control is the third. So being in control of our environment. And the fourth is being right. And essentially that's protecting the ego. So if we define cynicism by Webster's dictionary, it is distrustful of human nature or motives. And in another article from Harper's Magazine, this is taken again from Thrive Global website, but there is an article that it refers to by Rebecca Solnit called The Habits of Highly Cynical People. And Rebecca writes, cynicism is first of all a style of presenting oneself, and it takes pride more than anything in not being fooled and not being foolish. This is the root cause of cynicism, not being fooled and not looking foolish. So why do I alert to this particular article? I alert to it because this new situation that we are in amongst is completely alien to us. It's not familiar. It's not sticking to the habits of our living and our thinking. It's not being in control of our environment. And so the only thing of those 4 primitive instincts from our lizard brain that we can do is to protect our ego, is to be right. And so we come up with these outrageous conspiracy theories as a way of protecting that, as a way of not being fooled. So we have come to the end of the episode, and I just want to thank you for remaining loyal listeners. I hope that you are enjoying Chitty Chats and are finding it useful, empowering, and equally knowledgeable. I am due to release and publish my website soon, where I will have a compilation of all the research that I do all on the website to be read. In addition, you will be able to find all episodes of the podcast. I am due to re-record some of the episodes, so again, stay tuned for that. Lots and lots of exciting things to come, guys. During the quarantine days, please just remain positive. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.